Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome all of you. World Congress of Overseas Pakistanis welcomes you to an evening of dialogue with the Honorable Chief Justice of the High Court, Lahore High Court of Pakistan. We are thankful to the Honorable Justice Syed Mansoor Shah for accepting our invitation to engage with the overseas Pakistani diaspora and the legal fraternity of UK. We're also thankful to the chairman, Syed Kamar Raza, and the respectable Board of Governors for hosting the event tonight. I'd like to welcome my esteemed guests, leading members of the overseas Pakistani community, the solicitors, barristers, judges, and law students who have kindly taken time out of their very busy schedule to contribute constructively towards what shall be a very result-oriented, progressive, and positive dialogue. WCOP is a non-political, social organization set up to build bridges of understanding between the countries of adoption and Pakistan. There are 8 million Pakistanis in 144 countries, constituting the 7th largest overseas diaspora in the world. While we work towards engaging the overseas Pakistani community leaders, professionals, and members in dialogue to improve their outlook, their image, and their integration, we also want to improve the quality of their engagement and contribution to Pakistan. According to the State Bank of Pakistan, overseas Pakistanis sent more than $16 billion in remittances to Pakistan last year, and this number keeps on growing. With the successful continuation of CPEC projects, the investment from overseas Pakistanis will increase dramatically. It is therefore important that the legal and constitutional rights of this very important category of citizens be protected. When we discuss this topic with our focus groups, many problems faced by overseas Pakistanis came to surface. The complaints and issues are too many, but this evening is not about complaining. We presented the dilemmas to our experts and committed Diaspora Legal Support Working Group, and after many brainstorming sessions and meetings, this dedicated team has produced a framework of suggestions and improvements to the legal services in Pakistan. We hope that the Honorable Chief Justice will appreciate the concerns of the overseas Pakistani community and the recommendations and proposals that are put forth today in the spirit of reformative and progressive action, of which he is indeed a recognized champion. So, with that, I'd like to invite our first speaker, Solicitor Ehsan Chughtai, who's the Director of Exxon Legal and member of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. Mr. Ehsan Chughtai.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today. We had a very wonderful meeting with Chief Justice Mansoor Shah yesterday at Grand Plaza. And we did discuss a lot of issues regarding ADRs in particular, so arbitrations, the area of law I belong to. As I said, we discussed with Chief Justice Mansoor Shah yesterday about the possibility of having an arbitration center in Pakistan. Since Pakistan now has entered into a CPEC regime, so it is very imperative for a commercial business to have an out-of-court settlement system in place. I mean, we have mediation centers, as Chief Justice will tell him this in his speech. But Pakistan is very backward in the arbitration area of law, arbitration area of ADRs. That's why I propose that we should have it. But the most important issue in the arbitration is the enforcement of foreign arbitral award, or any arbitral award that we have in arbitration. On this point, we discussed with Chief Justice, and we acknowledged that at the moment, Lahore High Court doesn't have any procedural guidance or any practice note or any rules to work under the convention that we have in Pakistan in the form of Act of Parliament of 2011. I take this opportunity to request the Chief Justice of Lahore High Court, since the High Court is the first jurisdiction in all convention matters in terms of foreign arbitral awards, I request him to take a personal view on it and ensure that procedural guidance and policies be set in place as soon as possible. This is also very important because as we grow in CPEC regime, as we grow further in international trade, international law firms, international law practitioners, especially arbitration practitioners, they are keeping a strict eye on Pakistani arbitral behavior. How we do that? We do get arbitral award, but unfortunately we don't get that in force in Pakistan. One way or the other, sometimes practitioners don't know how to do it, sometimes judges don't know how to do it. So when I discussed yesterday with Chief Justice Mansoor Shah, he acknowledged that, yes, at the moment, a High Court, Lahore High Court, or perhaps any High Court in Pakistan, do not have procedural rules and procedural policies in place to let the practitioner and the judges know if somebody comes with the application of enforcement of arbitral award, how to deal with it. I know personally many cases of enforcement is standing since many years, 7 years, 10 years, but that delays literally jeopardize the very intent of the ADR system. Certainly jeopardize or discourages the commercial leaders to adopt this way of resolving their disputes. So eventually they end up going into hefty litigation and complex procedure of the court proceedings. We can avoid this if we have a proper system of procedural guidance and the principles and the rules to work under the convention, New York Convention. Many of the lawyers sitting here might know the one I'm referring to. We have a New York Convention in place in Pakistan, the Act of 2011, which recognizes and enforces the foreign arbitral award in foreign jurisdictions. We cannot progress, we cannot attract international community if we do not have an effective and efficient way of dispute resolution system in Pakistan. We have mediations, but many of the international contracts which I've gone through personally, they always refer to arbitration clauses. Sometimes I've gone through, some clauses are mixed clauses referring to arbitration, mediation, and then again arbitration. But we cannot deal with this kind of situation if we do not have system in place. We do have a law, but we don't have policies. We do have intention, but we don't have the hands to who can work with these kind of laws and give a positive impression to the community at large, or world at large. So, well, look, we know how to deal with arbitration, and we know how to enforce the foreign arbitral award in Pakistan. If we do not have it, then our dream of having a progressing in a CPEC regime with the international community will fade away. We need to have a very straight and unbiased approach towards institutionalized ADRs, rather than just doing, at the moment, many of judges sitting here, they know that in Pakistan we have ad hoc arbitration at the moment. Most of the arbitration are conducted ad hoc wise. But we need to have an institutionalized approach. We have taken an institutionalized approach in mediation, which is very good. And I'm very happy to know that Mr. Justice Mansoor Shah told me yesterday that it is giving a positive results. Many people are taking the matters to mediations and get the consent order. I mean, the lawyers know about the consent order. Is giving positive results. But the ADR is not complete. In order to complete the package of ADR, we need to have arbitration in. And if you get an arbitration in, we need to have a system in place to implement the outcome of that arbitration. If that outcome is not implemented, then we will fail. So I would request Chief Justice Mansoor Shah to take personal view and personal interest on it, and request the committees, you refer to the committees, the matter has been referred to the committees. The committees should produce some positive procedural setup, procedural guidance for us as practitioners, for us as an arbitrators, so we can enforce whatever we get through the arbitration proceeding in Pakistan and give positive a message to the world, commercial world across the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ehsan Chughtai Saab. Now I'd like to call upon Barrister Gulnawaz Khan, who's the Director of Addison and Khan Solicitors, which has won many local and international awards in legal excellence. Barrister Gulnawaz Khan. Thank you.
Honorable Chief Guest and his delegation, our Chairman, Syed Sahib, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and Assalamu alaikum. I hope that everyone listening me. I know this is the dilemma today, but that we have to face the situation, but this is another beauty of that if we enjoy that. WCOP, World Congress of Overseas Pakistanis, always a step ahead. Wherever and when diaspora can be benefited, so WCOP always a step ahead. So today's sitting with the legal fraternity and apex judiciary is sitting here right middle of you, that's the one example of that. Our team, so especially for the legal support team, since we've been given this task, that we should prepare proposals and highlight the issues, not only issues, but the main focus was that to resolve solutions, the reliable solutions. So those solutions, basically, this is what our task today. WCOP's legal working group have highlighted two major areas. One, what are the pressing legal issues faced by the settled members of diaspora? Second, what are the existing bottlenecks in the legal system? When we talk about the pressing legal issues faced by the diaspora, so this is about land grabbing, kabza mafia, divorce settlement, forced marriages, business litigation, power of attorney, representation issues, police high-handedness, custom and immigration issues on airport, children abductions, right to vote, seat in parliament, list goes on and on. But our focus is about only legal things, not the rest of. Second thing, what are the existing bottlenecks in the legal system? Three biggest bottlenecks. Number one, courts issuing of stay orders, sometime, not all the time, on the false evidence. Two, long and adverse process of dates and undue adjournments. Three, misrepresentation by the legal professionals. These are the issues which just I talk about, but there are good things as well. It won't be fair if I don't mention them. Recently, in Punjab, Lahore High Court, we see there are alternate dispute resolution centers in all major cities. We note that the newsletter being updated on website of Lahore High Court. We see there's a development in IT and engaging other jurisdiction professionals like here, Your Honor, you are here. So this is all in Justice Syed Mansoor Ali Shah's, Chief Justice Saab's, in his regime. So I believe that he deserves a big round of applause, please. Okay, the issues main is focused on solutions. It's very simple. We suggest only to connect 4 dots. If we connect these 4 dots, these 4 wheels if together, I believe that all will see the difference. Difference means that can be seen, everyone can notice that. What are the 4 dots and how can we connect them? Number 1, judiciary, right sitting here in front of us. 2, bar, because bench and bar obviously are 2 part A and B. 3, the government and executives. I can see the, executives chairman Bhatti Saab sitting just right in front of me. 4, WCOP legal working group. $16 billion remittance has been sent to Pakistan just last year. And if you notice, then if IMF or America, anyone is giving loan over there, number of conditions comes with that. Have to return that loan. But here is the reality. When they send remittance billions, they don't ask any markup. They don't ask any interest. They only ask us, please give us justice. Please give us honor. Please give us a due respect. When we are in airport or when we are there, so just is the dignity. That's what only we are talking about. One important thing, Pakistan has entered in CPEC. CPEC is the new gateway, and Pakistan economy is the one of emerging economy. We have to take special steps now, reliable steps. If we can do that, then we can think that the ordinary person can go for investment. Then we can think the people can take their business over there. They can expand business there. Otherwise, the people only will send the remittance, which is £100 a month or 500 to just maintain their family, nothing more than that. But if we make the system over there, then the investors, they will go over there. That's what the understanding is. And this is all possible if we connect these 4 dots, judiciary, bar, executive, and WCOP group. These are the 4 dots, and this is only possible, Your Honor, if you dedicate one justice, one judge in High Court, that who will be a gateway, who will be the center point, that he will make sure whatever we discuss today, whatever we agree today, whatever we sign MOU today, that it should be sustainable and that it proceed, rather we just sit here and eat and have a session and go back. Thank you very much.
I'll be inviting now 2 people, the chairman of World Congress of Overseas Pakistanis and the chairman of Overseas Pakistanis Commission. First of all, I'll be inviting the chairman of the commissioner of Overseas Pakistanis Commission to actually enlighten us, share with us what OPC is doing. Overseas Pakistanis, they hear a lot of different names, acronyms, OPF, OPC, Federal Commissioner, Provincial Commissioner. At the same time, they keep on wondering what is actually going on. So I think this is a face-to-face occasion, a direct occasion where they can know how actually statutory bodies, those bodies which have been existing in the name of Overseas Pakistanis, they are making any difference, are changing things for better. So in your big round of applause, let's welcome Commissioner of Overseas Pakistanis, Mr. Afzal Bhatti, to share the OPC progress in the last 3 years.
Honorable Chief Guest, the Chief Justice Lahore High Court, Syed Mansoor Ali Shah, Honorable Judges of the High Court, Syed Qamar Raza, Chairman WCOP, Arif Saab, the Chief Executive of WCOP and members of the Board of WCOP, Honorable guests, colleagues of the media, Assalamu alaikum. It is indeed a pleasure to be invited here again by WCOP, and I would like to share the progress and the achievements since we last met about 2 years ago. I'd prepare a presentation actually of what OPC stands for, why it was established, and what it has done in the last 3 years, but somehow there's been a technical issue. So I'll share some of the highlights, and I don't want to take too long because I would like our chief guest to basically share with us what we've agreed in our few meetings. As you're all aware, that Overseas Pakistanis Commission was set up about in November 2014 through an act of parliament by the Chief Minister of Punjab, Muhammad Shahbaz Sharif. He acknowledged the fact, while his travels abroad, that overseas Pakistanis faced a lot of challenges relating to their issues, be it land issues or financial issues to Pakistan. So he set up the commission in 2014, and I was appointed the first commissioner for overseas Pakistanis back in January 2015. Now, I have no qualms in saying that Punjab, again, is the only province that has set up this commission to deal with these complaints, followed by AJK's government, who've passed the legislation, I think, last year. We extended all cooperation, we trained their staff, we gave them copy of our legislation, we interacted their team with the Punjab IT board. They've got a similar complaint system, and inshallah we are hoping that they will have the operations set up across the 10 districts in AJK, because there's a large community in UK which belongs to AJK, and they always had complaints that we are not part of Punjab, so who addresses our concerns? So inshallah that will be functioning. So just a few items I would like to share with you. As you know, the Chief Minister himself is the chairman of the commission, and he has all the senior administrative secretaries, right from the Chief Secretary himself, the Inspector General of Police, and all the departmental secretaries as members of the board, apart from a few private members and a few members of the parliament. Now, further from the commission itself, then it's the commissioner's office, and then we have extended, and I answered to one of the questions raised by one of the speakers, that the district committees, of whom there's a chairperson, and the DC and the DPO are members of those district committees. So the commission has extended to across Punjab in 36 districts. And all these complaints that we receive are sent to the concerned district via the same portal where you file your complaints online from anywhere in the world. So we are making the best use of the IT system. We've faced challenges where the cases are in courts, and we have been unable to address them. So now, under the new mechanism set up and agreed with the Chief Justice, now those complaints are marked to the Lahore High Court, and those are then forwarded to the concerned judges for early resolution. Then we have cases of specific performance, where overseas Pakistanis have basically contracted to buy a property, they've paid the money, and they do not get the property. And then those cases are basically referred to court, and we do not see any end to it. Then we have the illegal possession of properties of overseas Pakistanis, and after many years, the overseas Pakistanis get the decision in their favor. Now a new challenge begins. It's the implementation of that decision that takes further quite a few years. Of course, we have the issue of dishonored checks, where overseas Pakistanis have invested in business or lent money to someone in Pakistan, and they have given a check in return, and that check is dishonored. There used to be a mechanism where I understood that in a dishonored check, the respondent was put behind bars till he had cleared those funds. But this does not happen anymore, Chief Justice. I mean, if the case goes to court and it now seems to be a bailable offense. The Chief Justice has very kindly set up a mechanism which is now practically working. But overseas Pakistanis has no intention of interfering in the remit and jurisdiction of the courts. However, I speak on behalf of all overseas Pakistanis, and I would like to humbly submit, not overseas Pakistanis gathered here today, but overseas Pakistanis from all over the world, that we want a sustainable, workable, long-term solution to the cases in the courts where a mechanism is devised in coordination with Overseas Pakistanis Commission, in coordination with any other organization with regards to, which looks after the welfare of overseas Pakistanis. We want to work together with the courts so that these complaints, in particular the matters that are sub judice, we have a long-term solution and so that they get speedy justice. Some of the complaints that one of my colleagues raised here, like airport issues or Nadra card or passports, FIRs against overseas Pakistanis, we are dealing with those. I've lost my husband, I've lost my wife. Honestly, we are dealing with those complaints. But I would like, this is an opportunity for us, and Chief Justice in our last meeting agreed to meet with overseas Pakistanis, and we would like to express our concerns, and we would like you to, and I appreciate the fact that you acknowledge how important overseas Pakistanis are, and how important they are as far as Pakistan is concerned. It's not just about remittances. It's about the positions that they hold in all parts of the world, and what they can go, what they then give to Pakistan, and it's not just about financial assistance. It's expertise, and overseas Pakistanis they've excelled in every field, and they can take that talent back to Pakistan. I myself am a chartered accountant. My business, my family, everything is here in London. But I have been in Pakistan since 2011 because, like one of my colleagues said, our heart beats, and it beats for Pakistan. Once again, I would like to thank Syed Qamar Raza and his team for according me this opportunity to speak to everyone here. And I would also like to thank the Chief Justice and his team who very graciously accepted our invitation and who are here to speak to us. And I'm sure he'll be able to share a few other agreements that we've had and the mechanism that we've set in place. And I'm hoping that the mechanism is there for the long term and for the years to come to resolve the complaints of overseas Pakistanis that are in the courts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Afzal Bhatti Sahab. And I think 50% ratio in 3 years' time is a very good percentage. It's a very good start. Today we have the honor to have the judiciary, the executive, the government side, and now the diaspora. To represent diaspora, I'm inviting the person who imagined this organization and the sole person who made this entire thing happen, along with the team of the professional and passionate people. So in your big round of applause, Syed Qamar Raza, Chairman, WCOP.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Honorable Chief Justice Syed Mansoor Ali Shah Sahib, honorable judges in delegation, ladies and gentlemen, member board of governors, assalamu alaikum and good evening. It's a great honor and pleasure for me to receive you on this memorable evening, which is in many ways one of the first direct interaction between diaspora and higher judiciary of Pakistan. I'm confident that this interaction will open many windows of opportunities for the diaspora to work with Pakistani institutions and play an effective role in Pakistan. Firstly, I would like to focus on some of features of 9 million overseas Pakistanis, which constitute 7th largest diaspora of the world in more than 144 countries. I believe that overseas Pakistanis are ambassadors of Pakistan in their respective foreign countries. Overseas Pakistanis are making a major contribution by enhancing and increasing investment standards for development of businesses, industries, infrastructures, and physical capital of Pakistan. I may add that overseas Pakistanis are acquiring skills which add to human capital of Pakistan as well as filling global human resource gap. They are source of development for future trained human resource of Pakistan by investing in higher education of their kids. Moreover, standards of living of over 1 million families in Pakistan are improving every year through personal remittance. In last 20 months alone, more than 31 billion US dollar have been remitted by overseas Pakistanis to their homeland, which is single biggest factor in balancing the trade deficit. More importantly, overseas Pakistanis are contributing to world peace, and by honoring and respecting the culture, traditional and social norms and values, abiding by local and immigration laws and other rules of their host countries. In this regard, overseas Pakistanis are making significant contribution towards social sectors reform by investing in education, health, and other social infrastructures. Overseas Pakistanis are also displaying and enhancing Pakistani culture abroad and transmitting friendly and acceptable culture values and standards of their host countries to Pakistan. We have improved the political awareness for people of Pakistan by providing views and experiences on comparative political and social systems of our respective host countries. Similarly, through social acceptability and hard work, only in the UK, we contribute 21 members in House of Lords and House of Commons, 3 members in European Parliament, 2 members in Scottish Parliament, and 1 member in Welsh Parliament, 375 councillors around the country, 41 mayors, including Mayor of London. As a Pakistanis, we must look into the fact that today our country stands as a cusp of many positive developments. We have achieved economic and political stability. Our armed forces are second to none, and with the unwavering support of people of Pakistan, we have turned the tide in our fight against terrorism and extremism. To this end, overseas Pakistanis have been and will remain the co-author of Pakistan's success story by dint of hard work and sacrifice. They have not only carved a name and niche of themselves in foreign lands, but also contributed to the uplift of their communities and country back home. Honorable guest, I believe that overseas Pakistanis are untapped potential of Pakistan. While we talking about $31 billion contribution in remittance, we should know that it can be increased significantly. According to our think tank, this contribution can be increased to $100 billion per annum through right strategy, legal and constitutional protection, and institutional collaboration. That is why today WCOP joins hand with Overseas Pakistanis Commission to solidify our engagement. Your Honor, Apex Judiciary of Pakistan can play a vital role by addressing legitimate grievances, fears, and insecurities of the diaspora. Today, in this auspicious gathering of hundreds of top professionals and diaspora leaders, and in response of the proposed recommendations, we would like to know that how the Apex Judiciary can play its rightful role and prove a beacon of hope for us that we consider Pakistan a safe, secure, and trusted place for investment and growth. Pakistan, Zindabad, Great Britain, Paindabad.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and taking advantage of your presence. In fact, as already highlighted, today's one of the hallmark is signing the MOU, this Memorandum of Understanding between Overseas Pakistanis Commission and World Congress of Overseas Pakistanis. So may I invite Commissioner of Overseas Pakistanis, Mr. Afzal Bhatti, to the stage. And can I invite Board of Governors, Founder Board of Governors, our executive members from World Congress of Overseas Pakistanis to join behind them. Proceeding to the keynote, and we're all anticipating very warmly our chief guest, who is the 45th Chief Justice of the Lahore High Court. So all of us, all of these professionals, legal professionals, barristers, solicitors, and community leaders, they've gathered here today to have a direct heart-to-heart interaction with Honorable Chief Justice, to listen to about all those initiatives taken by him, and then listen to all those plans which he has, along with other honorable judges who are present here for the diaspora. So, in your big round of applause, our Chief Justice, Syed Mansoor Ali Shah. A standing ovation on your own.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you so much for this warm welcome. Let me tell you that it's been very touching that I'm amongst my Pakistanis in Britain today. And myself, along with my brother judges, we feel really privileged that we've been invited to this August gathering. So thank you so very much for inviting us all. At the outset, let me just put some fundamentals right, and then we'll go on, and we can have a heart-to-heart. We are Pakistanis, and we should talk to each other. I'm here, my judges are here, and we can talk about any issues that you have. We can have a heart-to-heart, and I have all the evening for you. I think, so before we do that, I just want to say that somehow the whole evening has been revolving around the Chief Justice, you see. To me, individuals do not matter. What matters is institutions, you see. So what is before you today is the judiciary of Punjab. What is before you today is the judiciary of Punjab. And you see, under the Constitution, the High Court is not only the Chief Justice, but the Chief Justice and the judges of the court. So I would want you to warmly welcome the team that is here, which is doing everything in Punjab. So therefore, it's not the Chief Justice's evening, it is an evening for the judiciary of Punjab. Let me also take the opportunity to share with you that I have my brother judges, 3 of them are here with me from the High Court, but at the same time I have judges from my district judiciary that have come with us also. All these judges are attending to your cases, not the Chief Justice, mind you. So I think we should think of it as a team and as a judiciary of Punjab that is before you today, because I reiterate that individuals do not matter, institutions matter. And I think we must support institutions. On the second count that I want to sort of place before you, while we respect that there is millions of dollars coming into Pakistan as remittances, that is very good, and I appreciate that personally, and I'm thankful that that helps the economy go. But for judiciary, we look at things differently. We judges, for us, money does not matter. What matters for us is the rights of an ordinary person. For us, every Pakistani matters. It does not matter what social strata he belongs to, what money does he remit to Pakistan, does not matter. In the judiciary, you don't have business class or first class. Everybody is the same. That is important. So, for us, while we thankful for all the money that's coming in, and we are so proud of the Pakistanis who are working here, have reached such levels of their professionalism here, we appreciate that, we are honored because of that also. But to us, when we look at the cases that are before us, it does not matter to us what is your remittance behind it, because if we start categorizing what kind of money that comes in and we should start responding judicially according to the remittance level, then that will be creating unnecessary discrimination within the system. To us, therefore, every case is important, every Pakistani is important. So the sensitivity that we have towards overseas Pakistanis is perhaps, with due respect, not because of the remittances, but because they are Pakistanis and they're far away from home. And they are not there in their homeland. That is the sensitivity. That's why we're reaching out, and that's the extra mile. We think you're out here, you're not in your country, and you have your cases pending before us. We have to be sensitive. We need to look after those matters, and I'll just explain in a while how we propose to do that. Let me also at the very outset make it very clear that number of issues that were discussed here might not relate to the judiciary. We are only concerned with matters that come to court. The rest of the matters are outside our jurisdiction. While we might sympathize with you, we cannot do anything about those matters. We are solely concerned with the matters that are before the court. And we have done few things which I'll share with you. So let's get that perspective very clear. We're not there. There is no overreach on our part. We can only do what is before us judicially. So let me share some experiences with you as far as my judiciary is concerned. Maybe that makes you feel good that in Pakistan things are happening. In Punjab, the judiciary is coming of age in a way, and we are reforming things just for one single purpose. And that single purpose is that the shelf life of the case must be reduced. We must finish the cases as soon as possible. We want to fast track the entire system so that if you come to us with a case, we must give you a decision at the earliest period. That's the objective of the entire reform that we are carrying out. And if you could, so if you decide your cases at a speed that is required of you, then all the matters come to an end. I think the problems arise when there is a delay in deciding matters, and that sort of creates a lot of issues. So in Punjab, we've started out on a lot of reforms, you see, and we're trying to improve the fate of an ordinary person who approaches the court. We have improved and Barrister Khan raised a number of issues. I don't know where he is, but he pointed out a number of things. I would request him to come visit Lahore and sit with me for a while, and maybe your ideas will change, because all those nights that you spent here preparing those issues, I could have resolved them in 15 minutes had you sat with me. So while I respect your passion and your research, but you need to come home a little and I'll explain things to you. So having said that, what are we doing in Punjab? As I said, the underlying principle is that we want to make things easier for an ordinary litigant. We want to give access to an ordinary litigant. So a number of things, I don't want to get into all the nitty-gritties, but broadly speaking, we are giving access to a litigant. You can reach out to the courts now. There is an online mechanism of Sahulat Center, which is a facilitation center. You send an email, you get a response in less than 10 minutes as to what's the status of your complaint. You can call the High Court. There's the first time ever a call center at the Lahore High Court with 1134 as a number. You call and you find out about the status of your case. And that is happening. So I think that's the first in the judiciary in Pakistan, that you have a call center. You can do that in the districts also, and we're reaching out so that people could reach out to us and find out what's happening with their cases. We've also looked at things, and let me just also say that today that we're here with the delegation is not an elitist delegation where the Chief Justice and few judges have come here to spend some time in London. Not at all. We are here to actively work with the British judiciary, who are also very interested in the reforms carried out in Punjab. So we are meeting the British judiciary regularly with the help of the British High Commission since we are here, and actively working on a number of things. But the beauty of the delegation is the delegation is headed by the Chief Justice, and it has a civil judge on the team also, you see. It's never happened. It's never happened that a civil judge would travel with the Chief Justice and come out here. The point that I'm trying to make is that all tiers of the judiciary are communicating with each other. That's the only way that an institution can progress. There has to be communications in all the tiers of the institution. We are here as a cross-section of our judiciary in Punjab, a civil judge, a female judge, additional sessions judge. Judge Aisha sits here with us, showing to you that there is a lot of gender sensitivity as we progress and move forward. So this delegation and its composition alone would show to you how we've opened up to things and to the world. So having said that, number of areas we're looking at. We have 1.2 million cases in Punjab alone. And let me also tell you that Punjab has 95% of litigation in the country. So if you're looking at litigation in Punjab, that is the litigation in the country. So there is no way, you see, I took over, and my team that works closely with me, my judges who are sitting here, we looked at the size of the animal, 1.2 million cases. There's no way you can adjudicate these cases. And I'm sure in this 1.2 million cases, we have your cases also. So there's no way you can decide these cases with only 17 to 1,800 judges looking after a population of 110 million. It's not possible. I mean, put the figures together. How would we do it? So once again, Barrister Khan, I keep picking on. So come home and find out the population. You see, the recent census says that Punjab has 110 million people. We have 1,700 judges. What do you want me to do, you see? We don't have a super drug at home yet that could help make the judges work that hard and decide cases, but still, we're going ahead finding ways how to resolve things. So while we talk about reforms, and I'll share with you what we're doing for the overseas Pakistanis, we must also keep in mind that there is a reality to it also, and we have limitations also. And I don't have a magic wand, not yet. And I can't change things just like that. But still, we're working on it. So having said that we have 1.2 million cases, we thought we need to be innovative. We need to think out of the box and do something exciting. So mediation came to our mind. The world was talking about it. I still think there is no country so far which has 36 districts or any province that has 36 districts, and every court has a mediation center. If you can name me a country in this world that has that kind of a facility, I doubt it, you see. I leave it to you. Tell me if there's any other country which has a mediation center in every district court of their country. Not possible. We've done that. In Punjab, we have 36 districts. So we said, let's set up mediation centers. And mediation centers, let me tell you, have been set up in just 3 months' time. In all the 36 districts, in every district court in Punjab, you have a mediation center. There was no rocket science, no legislation required, nothing fancy about it. You just got some judges trained in mediation. You picked one judge and told him not to do judicial work and sit in a separate courtroom, which we converted into a mediation center by just changing the way the furniture and the infrastructure is. So nothing fancy. There sits a mediator, and we refer a number of cases to them from the same court to get resolved or get mediated. And let me share with you that in just 3 months, and this is a game changer, mind you, in 3 months we've resolved 5,000 cases. 5,000 cases. Now, these 5,000 cases are finally resolved. There is no appeal to it because it's a consent decree. There is no appeal to it, but even if they were to be resolved otherwise, there could have been appeals and other, the higher forums were available. But in this case, the matter comes to an end. So that's one innovation. We are setting up, we've introduced at the High Court the enterprise level as far as information technology is concerned. Perhaps the most advanced computer system in any court, in SAARC countries for sure, but I've also had interaction with earlier with other countries, and they've also said that this is perhaps one of the most latest technology that we are employing at all the courts in Punjab. And you'll see that you can pick up your Samsung phone. It's a free download of a Lahore High Court application. And I request you all to please download that application today. If you're really worried about your cases, the overseas Pakistanis could quickly look at your cases by just downloading this app. You put your case number, you find out in a second what's the status of your case. So that's access to an ordinary litigant. That is progress to my mind. As I said earlier, you can call in, you can write to the call center. This is something we're doing. We're also working very hard on our judicial training. And we've had a very good session today with the Royal Court of Justice here, and we've been meeting judges. And we're working on a joint collaboration where we could improve our judicial training much further so that we improve the quality of our judges, the quality of our process, and the administrative staff, and becomes more efficient. So a number of things we're doing, and I think what we were doing in Punjab got the attention of the British judiciary also. With the help of British High Commission, we're here engaging with the judiciary in Britain, and they are appreciative of the efforts being done in Punjab, and there's going to be collaboration. So that's just on the side that I wanted to share what we're doing in Punjab. On the overseas front, now let me tell you that your Commissioner, Mr. Bhatti, came over to see me in October this year, and we sat down and we talked about the issues. As I said, every Pakistani matters to the judiciary, every Pakistani, but in particular overseas matter more because they're distant and far away from their homes, so we're sensitive to that situation. Having said that, we said we'll immediately, in that meeting, Mr. Bhatti was there, the directions were issued that in every district, at every tier within the district, there will be a separate court to deal with overseas cases. Now, here comes the difficulty. What is an overseas case? See, is an overseas case where somebody, a defendant or a plaintiff, is given a foreign address just because somebody was outside and was traveling or something and he's given a foreign address? How do we identify that this is a genuine overseas Pakistani? Because there could be an abuse to the system also. So we reached out to the Commission and we said, you'll have to certify that this person is an overseas person. We need to do that, and there are some steps that I'll be proposing that the Commission ought to be doing also. And let me also say that the Commission is a pure executive body out there to facilitate your work. They interact with us, or we come into the equation only if a case comes to my court system. If it does not come to my court system, it is purely executive. It is working with the executive branches. It might be interacting with the development authorities, with the tax authorities, with the custom authorities. It's not our business. Our business starts if you have a case that enters my judicial system. So that be very clear, because sometimes the impression is that LDA or the development authority or some other institution is not solving my problem. I can't do anything about it unless it comes to the justice system. So the first thing that we did was to find out, and we're working very closely with them to please identify, tell us who is in overseas, where is the overseas case pending before us, so we can take that case out and send it to that special court. The figures I give you today, 1.2 million cases are pending in Punjab. The overseas cases with me right now are 800. 800 cases, no problem. To me, those 800 are as good as 1.2 million cases. I've still gone ahead and set up a special court, keeping in view that as far as the size is concerned, I would be attending to a number of other things also. There are a number of things that I could do. But for those 800 cases, which might grow, which Mr. Bhatti will get the figures right, he might identify more cases. But for those 800 cases, which are spread over in 24 districts, not 36, 24 districts, some districts probably have no cases from the overseas, so they are being sent to those special courts. The second direction given is that once we have a case that is identified as an overseas case and certified so by the Commission, we will try to resolve it within 6 months. That is the second direction. But let me now qualify that too. When I say 6 months, this 6 months means my judge is going to be there to decide the case as soon as possible. But bringing your lawyer is not my duty, you see. You've got to bring the bar to it yourself. And you know the bar in Pakistan, you see, you'll have to deal with that situation also. So Barrister Khan, once again, if I'm allowed to pick on you again, maybe you come home and talk to the bar a little, you see, and tell them to attend to the cases more regularly. So the 6 months period, do not take me wrong, when it doesn't get decided in 6 months, if your lawyer does not show up, the other party's lawyer doesn't show up, or if there are strikes going on, these are the realities that we are facing in Pakistan, which we're trying to deal also, and I can spend hours with you how we are dealing with these issues separately, but please bring that into the equation when we talk about fast-tracking your cases. As I said, I do not have a magic wand. I have said that every judge, there is a separate court deciding your cases in 6 months, provided all the other things are available. Then there is no adjournment of more than 15 days in your cases. Exceptional. This is also exceptional. It doesn't happen that way for other cases, but we are saying no, for overseas Pakistanis, we ought to do this. So that is one. So we have put up a structure of a fast track for you, and we will, to the best of our ability, push it through. We are going to put up this data on a website so you can access your information. We are working on that. We'll also try to come up with a portal on the free application that's available so that you go into the overseas portal, within the portal, and find out the status of your case. But it will become an overseas case once the Commission were to certify. But here are some suggestions for the Commission now. Now, the Commission ought to, first of all, work with us very closely to the extent that we don't know which is an overseas case, and you don't know which is an overseas case. Somebody goes and files a case in a particular district in Punjab. They don't tell you, they don't tell us. So how would we identify that this is an overseas case? Maybe he doesn't even write his foreign address and gives a local address to file that case for some reason. So we don't know. So you and I don't know where is that case that's been filed today in any district. So we need to work on that, and I think you need to reach out to all the, and I'm reaching out to all the overseas Pakistanis and telling them that they need to please, before filing the case or after filing the case, intimate the commission that we have filed a case and this is the number, this is the district, that's the minute, and I find out immediately. Once they find out, the judiciary finds out. And the minute we find out, that case will be picked up from the normal courts and put onto fast track. But without that, we can't do anything. So that's one. You need to have that vigilance and that kind of an SOP put in place where all the Pakistanis, overseas Pakistanis, would make sure that you find out. But if you don't find out and I don't find out, then there is no grievance. Nobody is going to come up to me and say, my case is not being decided, because I have no clue that his case is in my system. So that's one. Number two, the legal team. I would urge the commission to set up a panel of lawyers who you trust, who you have confidence in, and who are notable and good lawyers, reputable lawyers, so that they attend to the cases. If they, because the litigant or the client or the overseas Pakistan is not in Pakistan, so you need to have a very reputable lawyer who would be responsible enough to attend to all those cases at all times, attend to all the hearings. So I would suggest that a commission should come up with a panel of lawyers, and the overseas Pakistanis who are going to litigate in Pakistan must select somebody out of that panel, because in case that lawyer doesn't do anything, at least you, the commission, could then take him to task and say, why were you not there in a particular hearing? That would be very important, and I think things will start moving if you do that. So these were two suggestions that I have for the commission, that you do that. Otherwise, we are going to put a lot of information on our website for you, and soon you'll be able to find out what are the overseas cases and how well they are progressing. I would also want the legal team of the WCOP to come and audit and assist and help in Pakistan, talk to us about other ideas that they have relating to information technology, even otherwise. And if you want to come and audit the progress of those cases, will be very helpful. It will be helpful for us to see how are we progressing. You see, do an audit on our systems and tell us how are we progressing. So in the end, I'd like to say that our heart, you see, beats together. We're all Pakistanis. We have a lot of love and respect for you. We, sitting back home, feel very honored. We feel very proud that you, such great professionals, have reached such heights in your professions. We are so proud of you all in Pakistan. Sitting in Pakistan, let me bring that. And heading the judicial institution, I tell you and I assure you once again that we'll do anything to improve the fate of your matters before us. We'll fast track them. We are open to all sorts of ideas. Keep sending us the ideas. Come meet us anytime you want. I'm here. Talk to me if you want to talk to me about any issues. We are open. We have nothing to hide. We want to set up a system that's accountable, that's transparent, and that's right in front of you. I mean, it's not a personal thing. So please reach out to us. We are accessible. We are there for you. And don't ever think that we will, by any design, try to delay matters for you. We'll try to resolve them as quick as possible, but we need to work on it more intelligently, try to develop more intelligent systems and processes through which we could decide these matters. So once again, I'm looking forward to some Pakistani food, because I've been here for the last 5-6 days and eating all sorts of cottage pies and whatnot. But I think I need to get to some desi food. I hope there is desi on menu tonight. So anyway, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure being here. Thank you very much.
I'll be thanking Mr. Afzal Bhatti, Commissioner OPC, Justice of Lahore High Court Ali Akbar Qureshi, once again Justice of Lahore High Court Muhammad Farooq Irfan Khan, and then I'll be mentioning the Chief Justice himself, Roger Coventry, who is the Strategic Judicial Advisor from the British High Commission, and then our legal team, those people who presented in front of you, and the focal person. And the focal person for our OPC contract, Makhdoom Tariq Mahmood Al-Hassan, our host, Ali Afzal Khan. So with a big round of applause for for everyone who has been involved in the entire process.